There exists a man who moves through life differently, his steps are not rushed by the noise of the world, and his direction is not dictated by the opinions of others. His strength is not borrowed from people, it flows from God alone. Because of this, he does not chase approval, attention, applause, or companionship to feel whole. His security is not built on who surrounds him, but on who sustains him. This man is uncommon, not because he tries to be different, but because he has chosen depth over display. He carries a quiet confidence, one that does not announce itself, yet cannot be shaken. His circle may be small, but his foundation is firm, grounded in truth, faith, and self-awareness. We are speaking about a kind of strength that does not need to be seen to be real, a strength formed in hidden places, a strength built in private moments, when no one is watching, applauding, or affirming, a strength developed alone with God, where pride is stripped away and purpose is revealed. This path is not about rejecting people or withdrawing from the world, it is not about isolation, bitterness, or closing your heart. It is about knowing who you are so deeply in Christ that no opinion, no criticism, and no crowd has the power to disturb your peace or define your worth. When a man reaches this level of clarity, he is no longer afraid of being misunderstood, because he understands himself. That is not loneliness, that is freedom. Solitude is often misunderstood in a world addicted to noise. Many people associate solitude with emptiness, weakness, rejection, or failure. Society teaches us that fulfillment comes from being constantly surrounded, seen, heard, noticed, admired. We are told that popularity is proof of value and that being alone means something is missing, but solitude is not loss, solitude is discovery. It is in the quiet that a man finally encounters his true self, without noise to distract him, without masks to protect him, without crowds to hide behind, and that silence can feel uncomfortable, because it demands honesty. In solitude, there is no escape from your thoughts. No voice to drown out your doubts. No applause to reassure your insecurities. You are left face to face with who you really are, and for many, that encounter is terrifying. Most people avoid solitude because they do not want to confront what lives inside them, their fears they have never named, their doubts they pretend do not exist, their wounds they have never allowed to heal, their regrets they keep buried under busyness. But the man who chooses solitude chooses growth. He listens instead of escaping. He reflects instead of running, he slows down instead of numbing himself with distractions, and he faces himself honestly, with God beside him, guiding him through the process. Solitude becomes the place where real strength is formed. Not through noise, but through clarity, not through validation, but through truth, not through distraction, but through discipline. In the stillness, God begins his refining work, not to break the man, but to build him, not to shame him, but to shape him, not to condemn him, but to correct and strengthen him in love. Like a craftsman refining metal in fire, God removes what is unnecessary and strengthens what is essential. Pride is softened. Fear is confronted. Purpose becomes clearer. And faith grows roots that cannot be easily uprooted. This man does not look to others for identity. He does not depend on validation to feel valuable, he does not measure himself by applause, comparison, or public approval. He already knows his worth, because God has spoken it over his life. His peace runs deep, not because life is easy, but because his foundation is strong. His confidence is steady, not because he is perfect, but because he is grounded. His strength is real, not borrowed. Not fragile. Not performative. He does not fear being alone, because he is never without God. He understands that solitude is not the absence of love, it is the presence of alignment. It is where faith matures, where character forms, and where direction becomes clear. Because of this, he is selective with relationships, not because he lacks compassion, but because he values peace, not because he is arrogant, but because he is intentional. He does not collect people to avoid emptiness, he does not cling to relationships that drain his energy, compromise his values, or pull him away from his calling. Instead, he builds connections that align with truth, encourage growth, and sharpen his character. This man walks with intention, he chooses wisdom over impulse, he listens more than he speaks, he responds rather than reacts, he moves forward without needing applause to confirm his direction. The world may misunderstand him, they may mistake his silence for weakness, they may assume he is lonely, disconnected, or falling behind, but the truth is, he has found something rare. A strength built in silence, a peace untouched by chaos, a confidence anchored firmly in God. This is not isolation, this is alignment with truth when lies are loud, alignment with purpose when distractions are constant, alignment with God in a world that pulls relentlessly for attention. In the stillness, he hears God clearly, guiding his steps, correcting his course, strengthening his resolve. When the world grows loud and overwhelming, God speaks softly but with authority. And in that whisper, the man finds reassurance, direction, and renewed courage. He learns that not every season requires noise, not every calling requires recognition. Some of the most important work God does in a man's life happens in silence. Because the man who learns to walk with God in stillness will never be lost in the noise. He may walk a quieter path, but it is a purposeful one. He may stand alone at times, but he stands firm. This is the strength of a man refined in solitude. This is the peace of a man anchored in God. This is not loneliness, this is power.